this, that sometimes religious people are the most dead of all spiritually. Now, that's a weird metaphor. You can't be more dead than you're either dead or you're not dead. You're the most dead. You're even more dead. Now, so let's go over to the sleeping metaphor. The story is talking about death. It's talking about sleeping. It's using both of these. So you know it's true. Some of the sleepiest people I know spiritually are religious people who have all the answers. In fact, I jokingly said it, they don't even know that they're asleep because they're asleep. But they think they're awake because of what they know. They think that's the sign that they're awake because they know. Jesus said to the Pharisees, you know, your real problem is that you say you see. That's your problem. And your darkness you call light. You have no idea how sleepy you are. You know, one of the interesting things, I heard Dallas Willard talk about this once. Whenever the disciples would get up too much in their heads, Jesus had this fabulous way of kind of knocking them out of that. And one of the things he loved to do, apparently, because he did it often, was bring to them a child and put a child in front of them and say these maddening things to them like this. You know, you guys, you think you know so much, but unless you become like a little child, you are entering into this kingdom that I'm talking about. And then he wouldn't explain what he meant. What are you talking about? And this is the part that Dallas Willard said that was interesting to me. He talked about little kids. It's a funny thing about little kids. If they instinctively spot life. If you bring a little kid, just a little child, into a room of people they don't know, they'll just look around. They'll look around the room, and they'll look over there and they'll see a crabby face and they'll go, "Okay, that's death." They're not theologians. Okay, they're not theologians. They'll look. There's a crabby face. And there's something, and you're dead in your sin. No, they won't say that. There's crabby. There's mean. There's love. I'm going there. They instinctively move toward life. Jesus wasn't the only one who had conflict with religious people who thought they were awake, but they were asleep, who thought they could see, but they were blind. John the Baptist did as well. And in Matthew chapter 3, some Pharisees showed up at John the Baptist baptizing, wanting to get in on the latest religious trend. And John said this to them. I'm reading this time from the Message, Eugene Peterson's paraphrase or translation, whatever you want to call it. He says this: "You brood of vipers," says John the Baptist, "you brood of vipers, what do you think you're doing slithering down here to the river? Do you think that a little water on your snake skins, a little religious ceremony is going to make any difference? It's your life that must change, not your skin. I'm baptizing people here who want to turn in their old life for a new life, for an alive to God life, for an awakened from their slumber life, for an eternal kind of life right here, right now. Talitha Kuma, little girl, arise. Little girl, wake up. And if you hear his voice, don't roll over and go back to sleep." You can, you know. Roll over and go back to sleep. I mean, the image of that is really strong, even in my own mind. It's like that place in the morning before it's quite time to wake up, and you're in bed and you hear a noise or a voice, and I mean, consciously you can decide to either rise to the voice, wake up, or go, I just want to sleep a little longer. You know what that feels like. It happens spiritually too. There's times when the Spirit of God is speaking to you, maybe in a service like this, maybe in the context of worship, and you hear maybe you didn't hear it this way before, but I hope you hear it this way from now on. Talitha Kuma. Wake up. Talitha Kuma. This place that's dead in you and has been dead a long time. Today's the day I want to bring it alive. And when you hear his voice, Talitha Kuma, little girl, arise. Little girl, wake up. Don't roll over and go back to sleep, because you can. You know you can. We do it physically. We do it spiritually. I don't think so. Don't do it. Keep listening. Mark 1:15, my paraphrase, says this: "The preliminaries of all been taken care of. The time is fulfilled, so the kingdom of God is now accessible to everyone. Therefore, review your plans for living. In other words, wake up. Wake up. And base your life on this remarkable opportunity to enter into a different kind of life. And a life to God in life, not a religious life, not a list of behaviors that you do and don't do. I'm not inviting you to that. And you've not being invited to that. God's not, and alive to God life, an eternal kind of life that is awake and aware right here, right now, Talitha Kuma. Little girl, arise. Little girl, wake up, wake up. And if you hear his voice, don't roll over and go back to sleep. I love Todd Hunter's illustration where he explains this, and he explains it in this context, saying that we all have a kind of life. All of us, all living creatures have a kind of life. Every human being has a kind of life. Plants have a kind of life. Plants are alive to certain things. Plants are alive to the humidity in the air. They respond to the sun. They are alive to the nutrients in the soil. Animals are alive, and animals have a kind of life. They're alive to certain things. If we had a little kitten up here, and I was bouncing a little rubber ball, or I had something that was, going up and down, that little kitten would do what? They would kind of chase it and bounce around. And then I took the little ball and I brought it over to the plant, and I bounced the little ball to the plant. What would the plant do? That's a stupid question, isn't it? The plant would do anything. Why? The plant is alive. It's alive, but it doesn't have that kind of life. The cat has a different kind of life. The kind of life that is capable of responding to a bouncing ball. It's a different kind of life. Now, if I brought a little kid up here, little girl, little boy, and we showed her or him flashcards of math. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 8 is 16. If I did that to the cat, what would the cat do? I know, it's really getting stupid. I realize that. It wouldn't do anything. It would go like this. It wouldn't do anything. Why? Because the cat doesn't have that kind of life. Connect the dots. See, the reason some people don't respond to God is because they are dead to that kind of life. You show them the flashcard, they go, why? You bounce a thing in front of them, they go, I don't know. They're like a plant. They are asleep to that kind of reality. So hear now the good news of the gospel of the kingdom of God. The gospel of God, as recorded in John 5, again reading from the Message, beginning in verse 19. I'm telling you this straight. The Father loves the Son and includes him in everything that he's doing. But you haven't seen the half of it yet. For in the same way that the Father raises the dead and creates life, so does the Son. Indeed, the Son gives life to anyone who wants it. Neither he nor the Father shuts anyone out. It's urgent that you listen carefully to this. Anyone here who believes what I am saying right now and aligns himself with the Father has at this very moment the real, lasting life and is no longer condemned to be an outsider. This person, in fact, has taken a giant step from the world of the dead to the world of the living. It's urgent that you get this, for the time has arrived, right now, where dead men and women will hear the voice of God, and hearing it will come to life. Talitha Kuma. Little girl, rise. Little girl, wake up. The psalmist said, today, if you hear his voice, don't harden your heart. I would say, today, if you hear his voice, don't roll over and go back to sleep.